Hey there, Rocky Mountain Pro faithful. This is Senior Referee Dewey Larson, and you're listening to RMP Radio, where pro wrestling is elevated.
Your generation's out here wishing for good. My generation's on the front lines wishing they would. Give it a rest, don't test, you'll be severed for good. Don't get ahead of me. You never survive and I'm not gonna win. We've come to bring it our way. There's so much I could say. It's never really gone away. I feel it in my bones. It's like a bright light through it all. I'll never let it go.
RMP Radio is back on the air. Hi, I am your host, Mr. Fourth Row, and joining me on this edition of RMP Radio, I've got our ring announcer that you guys mostly see him at, the guy with the $1 million voice, $1 million suits to also match that, Aarius Grace. Aarius, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. So, like we do here on RMP Radio, we get to know a little bit more about the person beyond the wrestling ring, and in this particular case, kind of what their interests are, their hobbies, things they kind of do outside of this the wacky world of professional wrestling. And one thing that the listeners may be interested in here is that you're into music. You're a drummer and a lead singer. What type of genre of music do you kind of focus on there?
Really, I play a lot of gospel music, but I play by ear, so I play any type of music. So it can be R&B, hip hop, rock and roll, whatever you need me to play, I'll be there to play for you.
Oh. And how did this passion start?
Really, so drumming has been my passion since I was 3 years old. I learned how to I was self-taught. I was not taught by anybody. So when I was 3 years old, I used to just grab pencils and I used to just bang on anything that was close near to me. And of course, my mom would be upset because I'm banging on walls, I'm banging on counters, I'm banging on tables. And like, if this boy does not stop trying to bang on everything. And eventually, I believe when I was 6 years old, she bought my first drum set. And she put it in the basement because she didn't want to hear it. And I, used to go down there and just play the drum set. And from there, I just kept learning, music, and really been a drummer my whole life. And then about 3 years ago, I should say, I began to grab the microphone and sing, in front of my family. And, really, I used to do karaoke all the time with my family. Any family event that we used to do, I would do with my family. My aunt was a singer, and so we would used to go to other houses, her friends' houses, and we would just sing together and have a good time. And I'm the hype man of any party, any room that I enter into.
Oh, that's awesome. And we do talk, we've talked about it, we've never done it. We got a lot of musically inclined people here at RMP, and we've always talked about we need to get an RMP house band of the talent, the staff, the wrestlers, and the etc. What do you think about that?
Hey, we can do it all day long. I'm good at putting things together. So if you give me the cue to do it, Mercury Yaden, if you're listening to this, you give me the cue to do it. We gonna have a band for you at my house.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. So did you with your aunt and stuff like that doing the karaoke? Did you were you hauling the karaoke machine together, or were you just putting something on the stereo and just singing along with it for the performance for the family?
Yeah, she had her own karaoke. I had my own personal gold and black microphone, and she had her white and gray microphone, and we had our personal microphones, and we would just go around and sing. We'll sing, many different genres. It was just different. And I went back in, I'm not trying to call her old, but I went back in her days and sang some of the songs that she listened to as growing up as a kid, and she listened to some of the songs I did, and we just kind of mixed it together. And her being, not so hyped, and me being, the hype kid, and just being all loud and all that, just brought joy to everyone's face that we stepped into the room with.
What was the of her taste in music, her songs? What was your favorite one to perform with her?
The favorite one to perform was I forget the name of the song, but it starts like "I beg your pardon" or something. It was by I can't even think of the artist's name right now. But it was a song that we used to sing every single time, and it just brought joy to our face, because then it started getting like, at first I didn't like the song, because I'm like, what kind of music are you listening, what having me listen to or having me sing? But then the more it just brought joy to our faces, and we just kept doing it. We just kept going and we kept going. We started singing it. And my favorite time was actually just go around Christmas time, when we, would sing Jingle Bells and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. We just used to sing a lot of Christmas carols, and that was probably, one of my favorites, to just, have the family sit around and hear us sing, Christmas carols. As much as, our voice may sometimes be raspy and start cracking, they were still smiling.
Yeah. And flipping that around, what song do you think that of yours that she enjoyed performing the most?
Really, what my favorite song to sing was "My Girl" by the Temptations. That's probably one of my favorite songs to sing. I really hope that's by the Temptations, because I may have just embarrassed myself.
No, that's a good song. That's a great song. That's a great karaoke song. It's because it's got so much, and it's got a lot of parts to it that you can have two or more people, even in my opinion, perform that. So yeah, I think that's a fantastic choice.
It was one of my favorite, and they knew I was going to sing that song. I could sing that song. I used to sing the song, every single day, but me with my busy schedule, I really don't sing that song that much. But it do be playing in my car a lot.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Oh, so going from there, another thing that interests you, that you are a big fan of, and that's a great way to put this, is you like the sports, and you said to me specifically before we got recording, you like the basketball and the football. What are your teams? What are your favorite teams there? Those.
My favorite basketball team, will have to be the Denver Nuggets. As much as I went back and forth as with the Golden State Warriors, because ever since Stephen Curry joined the Golden State Warriors, everyone said that's my dad. And so Stephen Curry, as an individual player, he's a great player on the court. He sometimes he is overrated, but he goes and plays his heart out, and he keeps the game going, keeps his momentum going, and just allows the door. So my favorite team will be, Denver Nuggets, and I hope one day that Stephen Curry comes on to the Denver Nuggets. And my favorite football team will have to be the Denver Broncos. Not only am I just saying Denver teams because I live here in Denver, but they just, during their good times and during their bad times, they keep pushing through and they keep fighting through, and that's what life's about. When you fail in life, you just got to keep picking yourself up and keep going, and that's what I really see the Broncos do and the Denver Nuggets do.
Yeah. I want to take a step back from something you mentioned. What do you think it would take to get somebody like either get Stephen Curry or get somebody like a Stephen Curry onto the Nuggets at this point? Because I know, the Nuggets have had, some lately, the last few years, have had some good success. Just can't seem to get over that hump. And then, of course, this year was heartbreaking. But what do you think?
Really, I just think that once we brought, for the Broncos, we brought Russell Wilson out into the game, and we'll see what he brings. I don't expect us winning a championship the first year. But, if it does, it does happen, but if we don't, then there's always next year. And so really trying to bring some stars to the Denver Nuggets, as people say, it's unrealistic, because the top names that are in the basketball industries are the teams like the Lakers and Golden State Warriors and Cavaliers and all these wonderful top names. And the reason why they're on the top is because people like LeBron James and Stephen Curry, who already have their name out there, are just, they say it's unrealistic, but I don't really think in sports anything can happen in sports. You could number one, your contract can be up, and the team, you may have just got a new general manager of the team, and maybe they don't want you on the team. So it's like anything could happen. And what can really happen is if the Denver Nuggets really step up their game and understand that, the first year you bring these stars, they're not going to do anything for your first year. And if they do, I'm proud of you, But at the end of the day, it's just really stepping up their game and getting their head out their butt and just moving on and finding some good people out there.
Yeah. So you think that then if they did something like that, the Nuggets in this particular case, they just need to be patient for that first year.
That's what they got to do. We can't, when you have big stars in any sports industry, coming to your hometown team, you can't expect results to be, fantastic. And, just because LeBron James comes to the Denver Nuggets, you win a championship. Things like that do happen, some, first year that do make it through. But at the end of the day, they got to learn how to work with their team. It's not, basketball, football, any sport that you play, it's not an individual player.
Right.
It's more of a team effort. So if the team ain't working, just because they brought that one player, it's not going to do anything, because that single player is not going to win the whole game for you.
Yeah. Case in point, of course, the listeners know, and you may know too, of course, I'm a big baseball fan, of course, and then the home team here, the Colorado Rockies, this last off season, they picked up MVP, Rookie of the Year, Chris Bryant, and, may help, may not help. It's another, once again, like you just mentioned, it's a team sport. It's a team effort. So we don't know exactly if that's going to pay off, but it was kind of amazing, in my opinion, to see the Rockies, because of where they are, pick up, somebody of that caliber for this season. That's
exactly what, we get. Yes, we get MVPs, we get top stars to the Rockies and Nuggets, and all these wonderful names are getting signed, but if you don't know how to work with your team, you're not going to go anywhere. So, we really hope Denver goes somewhere. We got all these stars, like you said. We have, the Rockies signing people. We have Nuggets signing folks, and we have Denver, Broncos signing folks. Yeah. So we really hope Denver's name starts getting out there, and we start, winning some championships here in Denver.
Yeah. I mean, it's I would, say that probably in Denver, it's still a football town. It's still, the Broncos are probably the number one, fan base of the home teams. And so it's always, they get probably the most scrutiny when they don't perform. And, the last few years have been tough. Would you agree with that?
They have been tough, but I really feel like they're going to come back, and they're going to have a comeback season, and it's going to shock every single one. Yeah. And then, that's what they got to understand. Once you have that comeback season, don't expect and don't start getting cocky and don't start going out there and be like, oh, we just won a championship. Yeah. You still got a whole other season to do. And unless you're retiring that next season, you got to understand to learn how to push back, because now if you win a championship, now those teams are coming at you harder. So it's just about doing that comeback season and trying to figure out, okay, now they're going to come out harder. What is plan B,
Yeah. And then speaking of the Broncos as well, if we could for a moment, the ownership is in a flux right now, because it's the team is on for sale, basically. They kind of or if I understand correctly, it kind of have to. It's kind of looking that way, and we've got a lot of ownership groups kind of coming together, and we've got people like Magic Johnson, part of a ownership group, things like that. What do you see? Do you think that's going to be a distraction for how they're going to perform on the field this year, or is it just something of the just got to be doing? It's just part of the business side.
Really, them having a new GM and a new coach. They picked those before the season started, right. And with them not having an owner to their team, it could take some distraction to what the actual team is trying to bring, because not at the the only time that they're talking about Russell Wilson coming to the Broncos. It's great. That's what's on the news. That's what's on the top news. That's on top of sports. Great. Here, this is what's happening. But then you also have under that, you have a new owner trying to come in. Then you have a new GM trying to get used to this, and you have a new coach trying to get to used to this. So there's a whole bunch of new foundations happening. I really feel that because it's such a new team, they have to figure out how to work together on a fast track because, number one, football season's happening here in a couple months.
Yeah.
And so if they're not fast tracking on all the things, yes, it takes time to find a new owner, but I really felt that they should have figured this out while the last season was happening, while they're in the middle of their season. So then when a new season comes, you are picking a new quarterback, a new GM, a new coach. And so now that they're just trying to find all these new mindsets and who they're going to bring in, maybe they're going to have some new faces where they've never worked with each other before. So, like, how is this new foundation going to work? So they just have to understand that, most of these people are used to, working with, Green Bay or, the Seahawks or anywhere they came from. And so now they're coming into a whole brand new team and a new facility. Yes, they knew each other for a couple months and they, that's going, but it doesn't take a couple months to, build on what a new foundation, because every day is different.
Yeah. And the pressure of coming to a franchise that is a historic franchise that has been around forever from the AFL days, and that's got to be something too.
It's bringing. I mean, there's so much that's happening in the sports industry where we don't know what could happen next. We don't know, where the football is going to, because at the end of the day, the one who's owning NFL, the franchise owner, he may, want to retire next year. So now they're going to try to find, I believe he said he was the sixth, franchise owner. So maybe they're going to try to find a seventh. And so they just got to learn how to work with new and learn the new development, because the world changes every day.
Yeah, so true. 100% on that. So, additionally, outside of the wrestling world, you are a youth leader in your church. How did you get involved in that?
So the church I go to, I've been going to my church since I was 7 years old. And really, I just really been the type of person who I would, sit next to my pastor. He took care of me, I took care of him. And that was that kind of thing. And so then the more I began to watch him as a leader and grow himself as a leader, it really inspired me to be the next leader of the church. And I didn't know where that was supposed to be. I don't know if, was that going to be the next pastor of the church, or was I going to be, the worship leader? What was that going to bring? And obviously none of the things I was thinking brought that to my attention. And there was one day where, we wanted to, we used to do stuff with the youth group all the time, and I was just a part of the youth group. We would go to the mountains and go hiking and play volleyball, and we would do so much with the youth. And then there was a time where all the youth left but me. And then I left the church. And then, I started, exploring different options and going to different churches. And so then when I stepped back into, the church, I was going through a hard time. And nowadays, the youth, what we're going through, and this is going to any young adult, and it's just what we're going through, starting from 2020. I was a graduate of 2020 when COVID happened. And so, I didn't get to finish my school years like everyone else did. I didn't get to graduate the way I, was supposed to, and, in the arena and, invite my whole family. At my graduation, I could only invite my mom and dad.
Right.
And all these stuff was, starting to happen. And it was just more of like, okay, things like this, discourage the youth. And we were trying to figure out what is happening. Like, what are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to grow as a family? And this goes to any young adult, And so, ever since what I went through back in 2020, 4 of my friends, passed away back to back. And that was tough. And then later that year, my cousin passed away from an overdose. And just looking at that, like, really just touched me, because it's like, these are the people that are the same age as me who don't get to live the same life as, I'm living now. And from then, it's just really, all that really just touched me with young people, really making sure that they know that there's someone out there. Because, I was looking at some rates the other day, and, we have, and now, this year we have the highest suicidal numbers of the percentage. And it's really the young adults who don't know how to escape from whatever they're going through. Whether it's what's happening behind doors or what's happening, in school, or what's happening in their workplaces. And so they feel like there's no one else to talk to. And what I bring as a youth leader is I bring that, I don't even want to talk to you, in the church. I want to talk to you outside of the church.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to understand that if you're going to be in this world, I'm going to be in this world with you, but I'm going to save you from whatever you're doing, from any, addiction you have, any problems you have. I want to know that, I'm the person to talk to, and I'm there for you when you feel like you're alone and depressed and crying and thinking about you're going to, commit suicide. So those are the things that I kind of bring to the table, that, I try to make sure that, number one, I know what they're going through, because I've been suicidal myself. I've been, I wouldn't say I was addicted to anything, but I've done stuff that they've done too. And so it's like, how can I be that resource and tell them, like, what I'm doing now, as a ring announcer and a referee. Like, I had no idea that I was going to do this at such a young age, but because I explored and because I asked questions, it brought me to where I'm at now. And so that's what I'm trying to bring to the youth, that whatever your dreams and whatever your passion is, you can do it. You just got to keep your head up and keep moving forward.
Yeah, it sounds like you're trying to focus. Your message is that I'm your peer. I have gone through some of this. I know some of the challenges that you're facing, because I've been there as well.
Absolutely. It's because they really feel like once they share their story and what they're going, they feel like they're going to be judged by others, and that's what society really brings. You can't bring you can't bring a lot to the table, because you're scared that they're going to judge you in the way you are. But I always say, come as you are and do what you do. And that's what you have to do at the end of the day. Just learn that change will happen, but change takes time. It doesn't happen overnight.
Mm-hmm. So with you being a youth leader here in your church, what have been some of the challenges that you've been faced with, and then additionally along with that, what is it that you're then trying to focus on to help out the group?
Really, half my youth group is filled with people who are, because my pastor works at a school district where all the kids who get expelled go.
Wow.
Half my youth group are kids from there who got caught selling drugs on campus, who got caught fighting, and who got expelled, or all these wonderful things that they're going to. Like, anything that you could imagine, these young kids are doing at 13 years old, 14 years old. I was just listening to some of their stories yesterday when we were in youth group, and it's just really, half my youth group is filled with all that. And so really, it's that the biggest challenges for me is, how do I encourage them without discouraging them?
Mm-hmm.
How do I communicate to them? Because obviously my job is to share the gospel to them. My job is to make sure that, whether you believe or don't believe, my job is to do what I'm supposed to do, And so I try to make sure that I put, what I'm expected to do and what I'm told to do, and helping them understand that there's a resource out there. And so that's what probably has been one of the hardest struggles for me, is that I have all these type of people who, have ran away from the home, or ran away from the police, or ran away from, whatever they're going through, or who have been suicidal. And I've actually saved 4 people from killing themselves. So it's just, those have been some of the challenges, because at the end of the day, like, they may be going through problems too, but I'm going through problems as well. But I try to help them with their problems while I'm going through my problems as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it sounds like it's a tough thing. But I bet it's a rewarding thing.
Absolutely. Me being the youth leader has pushed me every single day to learn to push harder, because my days when I don't want to go to work, or my days when I don't want to wake up, or my days when I'm feeling tired or angry, they are the reason why I keep pushing every single day. And they're the reason why that I keep saying, look, I can't share a message to you, and if I'm not going to follow the message myself. So if I just shared a word to you about, follow the right way, follow the right path, and then I start doing something wrong, then I'm obviously just failing at what I just preached, So it's more about me just pushing through and helping, and that's what's really been pushing me every single day is when I get text messages like, hey, I really want to thank you for you changing my life. And I really say it's not me that did it, it's God that did it.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, with you doing this, and we could probably also say, if I'm correct in my thinking, is that this probably brings your energy down, helps because you feel you're compassionate for these youngsters. How does Aarius then fill his cup back up? Do you go to the pastor of the church, some of the leaders of the church, to kind of help you get back up? Because like I said, I imagine this weighs down on you a little bit, just because I know you're compassionate for these things.
Really, like I said, I go through my own problems myself, and I go through my own struggles. But how I really is just, I wake up and I make sure that, I'm okay first. That's their main thing that you have to concern. Like, yes, you may be a leader and you may be pushing yourself, and you can be, because I'm also a boss at Chick-fil-A. And so what I think of is myself first. If you don't think of yourself first before you think of others, you're just putting yourself down. And then by the time they're better, you're still worse. Yeah. And so you got to understand how to balance it, on how to understand that. Think of yourself first. Think of what you're going through and how you can put yourself together, and then put everybody else on your back and say, look, I'm going to walk through with you too. I'm not going to judge you about it. I'm not going to push you down about it, but I'm going to help you, pick you up, and keep going. And that's what it's about. You really just got to keep, motivating yourself, because like I said, if you think about others before you think about yourself, all you're doing is just putting yourself back deeper and deeper into a hole. And by the time everybody you help, they're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel while you're still stuck in a dark tunnel.
Oh, awesome. I really truly love that thought process on that, because it's in a way it's more of if you're not in a position to help because of you're not at full capacity, it's just not gonna, your message, what you're trying to do is just not going to take.
Absolutely. It's just, people think that when you start thinking about yourself, you're being selfish. But at the end of the day, you're not being selfish if you think about yourself first and also help along. But when you're being selfish is when you start saying, oh well, I made it to the top and you didn't, and I'm here at this and you didn't. If you're not going to encourage and help somebody, now you're being selfish, and now you're just not helping them out. But if you are thinking about yourself first, and then you put them on your back and say, I'm going to carry your weight with you, not for you, but with you, then you're going to keep pushing through.
That's great. That's fantastic. I love that way. I love that thought and that quote. So that I hope listeners, I hope you kind of take a little bit of that and do what you can with it. If you need a little bit of uplifting, I think there you go, right there.
That's what I do.
Yeah, that's fantastic. All right. So, Aarius, any other kind of maybe just fun, quick quibbits, fun facts about Aarius that listeners may know? We've got a favorite, a favorite Pokemon, or a favorite something, or just kind of fun trivia facts about Aarius that listeners may want to know.
My favorite color is baby blue. Baby blue has always been my favorite color, and it's always going to be my favorite color. And that's why the baby blue suit I wore for Peak of the Pack was probably one of my favorite suits that I've worn. And really, I enjoy writing stuff. I enjoy, writing plays and writing musicals and writing, music. And that's what I really enjoy doing in life. And so, like I said, I'm more of a director behind the scenes. And so that's really on a day-to-day basis. I sell chicken. I'm a director at Chick-fil-A. So on top of me being, in the ring, I'm all outside of the ring. I'm still hustling on being a boss at Chick-fil-A and doing what I got to do. So what the struggles that I go through over there, and the people who I fire, how I just got to keep pushing through and understand that, I'm got a job to do. And so that's what I do. I sell chicken for it on a daily basis. And those that want to know what I do outside of the ring, that's what I do.
All right. Fantastic. All right. Well, Aarius, I think that might be a fantastic place to put a nice purple RMP purple ribbon on this conversation. But before I let you go, people wanted to follow you out there on the socials, and then of course, our upcoming RMP shows that you're going to be at. Where could they do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you guys want to know more about me and see my outside life, follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Just look up my name, AARIUS_GRACE, and you'll see one of the favorite fit picture I like is me in my navy blue suit in the ring. And so you'll see that. And if you guys want to come see Aarius, I guarantee you by milestone, you guys may see some merch from Aarius it's going to say #TakeItOff. And so I guarantee if you guys want to do that, come see me at Milestone June 24th. We hope to see you. Buy your tickets, whether you're here in Colorado or outside of Colorado.
Fantastic. All right. Well, once again, thank you for coming on to this edition of RMP Radio, and be seeing you in the future.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Artie, for having me.
Once again, a big, huge thank you to Aarius Grace for coming on to this edition of RMP Radio and letting all the listeners get to know a little bit more about what he does outside of the wrestling ring. Before we get out of here, let's pay some bills like they used to say back in the day. If you want to get some merchandise of your favorite Rocky Mountain Pro superstars, a few different ways to do that. Head over to rmpwrestling.com, click on that merch link, or if you're in the Amazon.com or the Amazon app, search for Rocky Mountain Pro, and you'll be presented with a few different choices from there. Additionally, of course, each and every single one of the shows, head over to the RMP merch table, and you'll be able to pick up those things that you can only pick up in person. So, hint, hint. Now, upcoming events that we've got coming up, you can see everything that we've got coming up over at rmpwrestling.com. Click on that events link. This upcoming Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we've got events. We're going to start off the weekend heading back to Bierstadt Lagerhaus at 8 p.m. Free event. All we ask you to do is please patronize Bierstadt Lagerhaus with food and refreshments. Try that famous mac and cheese. I have partaken myself many times in that mac and cheese, and I'm not sure if I've even had every single flavor combination that they offer. So thought, what is next on the palette for that? Then on Saturday and Sunday, we are going over to the Mile High Flea Market over in Henderson, Colorado. We'll be there from noon to 3. All you got to do is pay that admission fee to get into the Mile High Flea Market. It's a nominal fee, and then of course you get to experience everything there is at the Mile High Flea Market. Everybody selling their wares and everything on those grounds, as well as all the entertainment and fantastic food and other amusement there as well. So we hope to see you there at the Mile High Flea Market this upcoming Saturday and Sunday as well. Now, in between all this, of course, watch us on your twitch.tv/Rocky Mountain Pro. You'll get your ignition right there, of course, youtube.com/Rocky Mountain Pro. Watching those charged episodes for the time being. Of course, you can catch us on Fight TV as well. And did you guys get the peek of the pack on Fight TV? If you haven't, after this podcast is over, head over to Fight TV, order that peek of the pack. It's very well worth it to help support us. And then, of course, with Fight TV, you can watch those events over and over again as many times as you want. You buy it, you own it, and you build your digital library there on Fight TV. I've got quite a few events piling up on my Fight TV digital library, and it's great to have that, especially if you're a connoisseur like I am. I love having digital libraries on my Fight TV as well as the other devices and services that are out there. You want to follow us, head over to the rmpwrestling.com. That's where everything does stem from. And then, of course, on the social medias of the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram, all of the username of the Rocky MTN Pro. Once again, I'll phonetically spell that for you. That is the Rocky Mike Tango November Pro. If you want to help support this podcast, RMP Radio, head over to my Pro Wrestling Tees website, prowrestlingtees.com/Mr. Fourth Row. You can pick yourself up an RMP Radio t-shirt. I still have plenty on hand, so if you are at a show, you want to pick one of those up, hit up the merch table, or give me contact in the social media, send me a direct message or things like that, and I'll see if we can arrange a way to get you a shirt if you don't want to wait for the shipping. But like, I've got some on hand, so get it out to you very, very quickly. Thank you as always for listening to this edition of RMP Radio, where pro wrestling is elevated.